What's up, folks? This is David with Old School Garage. So, we've got quite a bit of feedback on this lt1 install that we have going on in my Trans Am. A lot of people out there is putting in some C10s. They're doing all kind of swaps from Impalas to C10s and Z28s and whatnot. And I'm proud to see that, and I'm glad that my videos sheds some light on an engine swap that's definitely on a budget. And you know, we don't all have big huge garages and professional garages that we can hire somebody and give them the cars and say swap the engines, paint the cars, fix them up, and let me drive them. You know, them shops are expensive, and just face it, we don't all have the means to do that. Those of y'all that do, glad for you. You're very fortunate, and you know, it's cool, it's awesome, you know. But for the small man like me, representing the small man, representing somebody that has little money but wants to have a classic car or truck with a modernized engine, this is the channel you come to. Okay, so again, thank y'all for liking, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification buttons if y'all want to have future updates on the lt1 and classic cars, all the way from painting your own ride to fixing up your engine and doing all kind of sorts of stuff. Okay, so let's talk about the lt1, the engine bay, and then the engine. That I'm gonna clear some of these questions up. Okay, folks, so before we get started, there are some questions that I had gotten, and I like to answer them on video. And the questions contain to the deletion of things you don't need. So in my case, I deleted the air condition, which you can get a pulley replacement for the air condition. My air condition compressor was mounted on the bottom of the engine, and I decided to get rid of it because I didn't feel like notching my frame. And yeah, so if your air condition is mounted on the bottom of your lt1, you perhaps have to notch your frame. So keep that in mind also. You know, I mean, for me, I really don't need it right now. I'm probably gonna sweat my balls off in the future, but I'm probably gonna put it back. But right now, I'm just trying to get my car up and running. So that's one thing that I deleted. The second thing was the air pump, the pollution pump. Okay, pollution pump mounts in this area. I deleted that, and you could just tuck your wires into your harness, or you know, if you don't need them, cut them and tape them, whatever you want to do. But you can delete that also. The canister purge, it's real simple. Just find the vacuum line, delete it. You know, you don't need the canister purge. The lines that run into the manifold here. Okay, when you take the lines out, you're gonna have some holes in here. You could just plug them, or you can weld them shut. You don't need that. What else? What else? What else? What else? The oil level sensor. Mine was ripped out, so I just deleted it. You know, it's in your oil pan. You can delete that. The engine don't need that to run. As long as you have an oil pressure gauge in your car, you should be good to go. You can see your pressure. You drop below anything below 30 to maybe 25. That's, you know, typically you got a problem. You know, on an idle, you want to be around 35, something like that. Don't quote me on it, but up in that area, 35 to 40 on an idle. You give it the gas, it should go to 65 to 70, maybe even 80. What else? What else we deleted? It'll come to me, but let's talk about the harness. I went painless, okay? The reason I went painless is because I ripped my old harness out. It did run on the old harness. I just didn't have the diagnostics port, and I ripped it out of the computer. So it was a blessing for me that I put the painless. So if you can't afford the painless, you don't need it. Okay, just be careful how you take your engine out. Don't cut the engine harness. You know, I mean, you'll see where it goes into the body. You know, you could perhaps unplug it from the body or cut it out of the body. It should. You'll see where it goes into the body. It's going to spring off and go into the body, so you can cut it off, cut it or pull it out. Okay. Got a little cold this morning, so no, it's not Corona. What else we need? Oh, the drive shaft. Okay, when you put your engine with your 4L60E. Now 4L60E, that's electronically controlled. Your computer controls the shifting of your 4L60E transmission. So if you keep it, which you're pretty sure you will, make sure you don't damage the wires and plug in into your the tail and into your main transmission. You'll see where it goes into your transmission. Don't damage that, because that's what shifts it. Okay, it goes back to the computer, and the computer tells it when to shift. So that you need to know. And getting back to the drive shaft, you're probably gonna have to cut or extend depending on the application you're putting in. My case, I had to cut 3 inches off of the drive shaft to fit it into this Trans Am. Okay, now the old Trans Am drive shaft was little bitty, tiny little. So I did away with that and put the one that came with this, and it was a bigger drive shaft. So when you cut your drive shaft, make sure you cut it at the end. Cut the welds off, take your measurement, cut the shaft there, put the yoke back into it, and weld it. Okay, that's going to give you a true fit. Of course, you got to true it up and all. I have a lathe. I put it in my lathe and OD'd it in, and I got mine true. Okay, so drive shaft is very important. All right, let's talk about moving your battery. If you want your battery in the engine bay, that's cool too. You don't have to do a lot of work. All you gotta do is put your battery, put it back in the tray, and you're good to go. Run your wires to it, you're finished. Okay. But in my case, I didn't want the ugly battery sitting in the engine bay, so I ran it through the car. Now my old video, my first video, you seen where I rubber grumming it through the firewall. Didn't like that. So let me show you what I did. Boom. They sell these connectors here, okay? These some plug connectors, all right? And you drill some holes into your firewall, screw the plastic nut onto the back, and they have a rubber in here. And the more you tighten on this, the tighter it gets around this wire. So this is a 1/0 wire. Do not use 2/0. This is 1 gauge, okay? Do not use 2 gauge. There's a reason for that. Use 1 gauge if you run it to the trunk. All right. I had bought 2 gauge and I lost money and had to. I lost about $40 on the 2 gauge because I didn't know what to do. Now I know what to do. So you make sure you use 1 gauge when you run your battery to the trunk. Trust me. Trust me on that one. People ask about the power steering. Well, it comes with the lt1 and it's going to plug. On the 79 Trans Am, it plumbs right into the gearbox. So it's straightforward, simple, no mess. I mean, I literally just took these 2 ends and plugged them into here and tightened it in. I didn't do nothing else with this. The only thing I have to do is build a bracket for this canister. It might come off the frame or whatnot, maybe off the fender well here, I'm not sure. The body harness we didn't get to yet. We're gonna leave that alone. Okay, we're gonna leave that alone for now. So when I do run my wires to the lights and stuff, I just use my existing body harness for the car. So we're not cutting into that. Okay. There's a lot more little things I need to do, small things, you know. But right now, I got this my other fender coming in. And I got to start priming this car and painting the shell so I can start hanging my doors. So I can start driving it and testing it and see what's going on with the car. But hopefully everything goes well, folks. Alrighty, folks. So aside from talking about painting, the lt1 engine is fairly straightforward to install in your car. All you have to do is be careful how you pull it out your car and set it into your car. It's your imagination. You can do what you want and how you mount it into your engine bay. You can build your own support. You can do what you want. It doesn't have to be a certain way. You can build your car to your specific need. Okay, as long as it's sitting in and you're plumbed with the drive shaft and everything is pretty close to accurate and true, everything should go good. Again, it's whatever you can think up, you can build it to your own specification. Okay, so again, please like and subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you on the next video.